The largest public transportation agency in the state downplayed a serious safety risk and failed to consistently train bus drivers on how to address it. That's according to Metro Transit emails obtained by 5 investigators over the last year. We first reported back in January that drivers are using duct tape to secure dangerous panels when they fly open in the middle of a route. Only on Nightcast, investigative reporter Ryan Race joins us with what he has learned since then. Ryan.
Yeah, Lindsay, internal emails we obtained pull back the curtain on how Metro Transit tried to spin this as a minuscule problem after we started investigating. But we now know this is a much bigger issue than Metro Transit is letting on. In fact, it could potentially be deadly, according to their own records, their own experts, and their own drivers. When 5 investigators first started asking about loose bus panels, like this one that spontaneously flew open and sliced through a bus shelter, a safety official at Metro Transit was warning that our questions sounded like trouble.
Why aren't these panels staying shut? Yeah, I mean, it's a great question.
In an interview back in December, Metro Transit acknowledged that the loose panels had been an ongoing safety issue for years, a problem addressed with extra safety checks and, get this, duct tape.
So they're using duct tape in the middle of a route to keep it secure?
So if you can look at it, and depending on what is left in that route, that's an option.
While the agency's spokesman publicly defended Metro Transit's response, emails show behind the scenes, officials were scrambling to respond and eventually downplayed the extent of the problem, calling it, quote, minuscule to say the very least. Is that a fair characterization of the issue?
Oh, no, absolutely not. I know a lot of drivers that have had it happen.
This Metro Transit bus driver talked to us in uniform before he clocked in for his shift. We disguised his voice and agreed not to reveal his face or name because he fears for his job.
I've had it happen 3 different times to myself.
3 times?
Yep.
The issue, he says, is that Metro Transit does not know how often loose panels actually fly open because, well, they don't keep track. Should that be something you track?
Absolutely.
El Tinkelberg is a veteran transportation official and former commissioner of MnDOT.
I think they would want to know that. The potential for liability here is pretty significant. They know this is a problem.
The agency says panels have only caused property damage 8 times since 2016. But here's the thing, they only count when it leaves a mark. Metro Transit says it still does not track how often panels spontaneously fly open.
Something I learned long ago, that hope is not a strategy. I mean, hoping it doesn't happen very often, hoping it doesn't injure someone in the process is not a responsible strategy.
Metro Transit declined to do another interview with 5 investigators, but their emails show, despite publicly downplaying the problem, the agency is well aware of just how dangerous this really is. In this email, one Metro Transit safety official described it as a horizontal guillotine that could decapitate a pedestrian or bicyclist on the sidewalk. He also found that Metro Transit's strategy over the years has been, quote, inconsistent, flagging a gap in training for drivers that made the issue even more dangerous.
We're not trying to land a booster rocket here so we could reuse it. This is pretty simple.
Those drivers are now being trained to shake the panels before starting their route. And they can still use duct tape in a pinch. Should they be using duct tape?
No, that may be a private sector solution, you know, where somebody's trying to avoid having to spend any money, but that is not a public sector solution.
After our first story aired, records show that Metro Transit did reach out to Gillig, the manufacturer, and Gillig told Metro Transit that it was not aware of the issue. We have also tried repeatedly to reach out to the manufacturer, but have not heard back. By the way, Lindsay, these emails are just a fraction of what we requested. 6 months later, the agency is yet to hand over thousands, literally thousands of the emails that we've asked for.
Just fascinating. And you hope you're not the one driving next to one of these buses if it happens.
Absolutely. It is a significant safety risk, as they admit.
All right. Thank you so much, Ryan Race, reporting for 5 Investigates.